A really quick story. Now, this is kind of it's going on everywhere. It's happening all around. You hear it here and there. You hear actual municipalities like, was it Nashville? Just decriminalized. I did a story about it a couple weeks ago. Um, uh, and Louisville, Kentucky's over there. Like, man, why can't we're just right there too? Why can't if you're on this side of the street, it's illegal. If you're on this side of the street, it's legal. Anyhow, so this is about how communities look to weed out marijuana enforcement from police priorities. And I got another story about this too somewhere. I should just kind of tie them in together. Uh, but anyway, this is out of Raleigh, North Carolina, WRAL.com. Community groups across the country are urging police departments to deprioritize marijuana enforcement, arguing that pursuing criminal charges for small amounts of the drug wastes both taxpayers' money and law enforcement resources and disproportionately targets blacks. That's something I've been talking about here and there. But basically, the whole drug war was invented, perpetuated, and is still in full force today because the racist nature of law enforcement and the racist nature of the drug war in general. Okay, so the Durham City Council, for example, recently asked City Manager Tom Bonfield and Police Chief C.G. Davis to look at ways to pull back on enforcement for small amounts of marijuana, such as citing people instead of arresting them and levying marijuana charges only when the person is being investigated for other crimes. Not sure I like that one. It kind of just throws marijuana in there, like throw the book at them style. And then now all of a sudden, every time you got somebody that did something, you say, oh, and look, they're also marijuana. So anybody that does these car robberies are marijuana heads, and anybody that does B&E, marijuana. Anything farther from the truth, man. Marijuana is contraband in the black market. So of course someone that breaks laws might happen to have marijuana on them too, because that might be another law that they break. They might sell the shit. All right, so let's go. They just started looking at issues and seeing if there was ways that they could implement some of these things. Quote, our officers have more important things to focus on. There are more genuine threats to public safety, said Mike Menno, a spokesman for the North Carolina chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union. In addition to using limited resources, Menno said, marijuana enforcement antagonizes communities, especially black neighborhoods. About 80% of the people charged with marijuana possession are black, while estimates of marijuana usage are evenly divided along racial lines. In fact, I would argue that probably more white people use per capita or whatever per thousand than blacks. It's just a fact, man. The aggressive enforcement of marijuana laws disproportionately targets people of color. Okay, let's rewind that. And even if that ain't a fact, even if it was like, okay, 10% of all white people use marijuana and 10% of all black people use marijuana. That's some lowballing, but that just makes it real easy to say that, wow, so many more millions of people smoke marijuana are white than are black just based on that. But I'm saying it's more like 25% of white people, if not more, use marijuana, and maybe 30% of black people. I'm sorry, maybe 20, all right? And that's outright use it every day. Not, oh, I've used it, I've tried it. If you want to go there, it's probably like almost every white person I've ever met's at least tried it. Black people, probably not even half. So, and I've met a lot of people. I'm pretty famous. Well, people know me, I've met people. That's about all I'm going to say about that. The aggressive enforcement of marijuana laws has definitely harmed the community and the community relations between the police and the community, and leaves many people who have been arrested with even a tiny amount of marijuana with a lifetime of consequences, Menno said. Horace McNeil knows that all too well. In March, he was riding the car that was stopped by police in Pinehurst. We were suspicious for driving into a town at 10:30 at night. Shouldn't be. There should never be a problem with someone driving anywhere, anytime at night, day, or any other place. They were suspicious because they were black. Let's just get right to it. And don't tell me that if I was a white person driving around in Pinehurst, North Carolina at night at 10:30 at night, that's not even late. If I was a white boy driving around in Pinehurst at 10:30 at night, there is no fucking way I would have got pulled over just because of that, you know. Police found small amount of marijuana in the car. McNeil was arrested and convicted. Now he can't get a job, which said is frustrating, and it is. And that's why you gotta get this. These marijuana laws are just taking way too long to do real things. Like even in Colorado, it took them like 2 years to start letting people out of prison for marijuana crimes. How would you like to be sitting in prison every day after they changed it so recreational marijuana is legal, and you got one of your best friends from high school now owns a dispensary and makes $1 million a month or something? You know, like, how do you feel? You feel pretty bad. Like, this really ain't working for me. Quote, it is also important to remember that the collateral consequences that even one arrest for a small amount of marijuana can have. Said, these people have families, these people have kids, these people are your brother, your sister. The marijuana arrests, which happen at about once every 35 seconds or so, is unbelievable. They affect everybody. And even in the white community, I know people would say, well, if more white people got arrested, well, by golly, then maybe they'd start changing the laws. That's somewhat true a little bit. That's why you see a lot of the laws changing. But the problem is it's still such a tool for law enforcement. Oh, ooh, man, we couldn't do this or that unless marijuana was still illegal. So it's a really good tool for us to be able to say somebody was high or this or that, and we're believing less of it every day, so whatever. Police Accountability Community Task Force, a community group in Raleigh, this summer asked the Raleigh Police to put a lower emphasis on marijuana enforcement to help improve community relations. Raleigh officials said that would require discussions with state lawmakers and Raleigh City Council and Wake County District Attorney Lauren Freeman. No, it don't. All it really takes is for you guys to just stop it. Just stop enforcing them laws, Just stop acting like when you find a little bag of weed, oh, I gotcha, It's like, no, you don't got me. Everybody's got a bag of weed and you ain't got shit because that ain't nothing. It's like a little dime bag. They're targeting a certain demographic, quote, Raleigh resident Tim James said. And that's not justice in my eyes. We hope they pay attention to what's happening in Durham. Mino said of Raleigh officials. That's the end of that one. Like, North Carolina, any good news would be great. Like, I don't see anything changing there, but that's one of the places where the grassroots, the people on the ground, the families of people that are getting arrested, the police officers that have to deal with arresting marijuana cases every time they find a little bag of weed and writing the tickets and booking the people in and booking them out and feeding them for a couple days, and we'll get into that in a different clip about, this is costing, upwards of $50,000 to $100,000 a year to house these inmates, and there's millions of them. Oh, was that story? Just let me rewind that. Nope, that's not. All right, you gotta watch more clips that I make. So subscribe. I keep coming with them, and these marijuana stories just keep coming. It's like the year that keeps on giving. So just look at the one that I'm about to make. I'm telling you, you have to the cost of just going through the court system with a marijuana case, if someone demanded a jury trial, is exorbitant, and then you got the jail time that he's been there and the probation or whatever other costs. This is all cost to the state. Does anybody ever ask if we got the money for this? This crazy apparatus that puts people in jail for marijuana. How do we afford it? It's billions of dollars a year federally, and all combined local costs. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars to house all these inmates on marijuana. When is it going to stop? When can we just be like, oh, pull the plug on arresting people? We can all figure out how to do laws in your own state and municipality. You can hammer them out however you want. But right now, we're just going to all agree not to arrest anybody for fucking marijuana.